church on East Main Street. Behind the St. Thomas parking lot as a point of reference. It is one of 3 historical sites in Emmaus. The shelter house was the oldest, and the second was the Klauss Homestead, built in 1777. I know most of us weren't here then. And then we have the 1803 house. The Klauss Homestead, Sebastian Klauss owned the property. He donated the land for Emmaus itself. It was a closed Moravian community until 1859. And then it became public, and thus we are here. And it's tied very closely with the Moravian Church. There was, the Klauss family was continuous there for 158 years, and then it was sold to the Marx family, and they owned it for about 20 years, and it fell in disrepair. The borough bought it, and Roger Whitcomb probably remembers some stories about that as well. And it needed a lot of work. So there was a preservation society started many years ago. It had fizzled to 1 board member. And last fall, about a year ago, Dr. Mike Waddell, you might have heard of him, and my wife, Mary Ellen Yobst, and myself met with John Schmoyer, and we talked about how we could restart the Preservation Society and do the good work for the property. We held an informational meeting at the Emmaus Library a year ago. We had 25 people show up. There was a lot of enthusiasm. We immediately started a membership drive, and within a month we had enough members to form a provisionary board, which we did, and we went to work. The bylaws were historic. They drastically needed updated. So we worked on that. We raised funds. We paid past bills to the borough. We were responsible for the utilities and maintenance of the property. So we brought that up to date. We now have 113 members, and it's growing. We have an active board of 12 members. We meet once a month, and we have a number of events coming up to help raise money for this effort. The property, as I mentioned, had fallen into disrepair. The house needs to be repainted, and because it's listed on the historical registry of the federal government, there are certain guidelines that you must follow. One is you cannot power wash the building. It must be hand sanded, primed, and painted, which is a daunting task in itself. We have a quote to do that, and that comes to almost $20,000. The shutters on the house are gone, they're just shot, so they must be replaced. The inside of the house is in pretty good shape. John Schmoyer has done a lot of work in restoring the inside of the house. We have some wonderful period antiques. I fit in very well there. There's a lot of work in progress on the property. The barn is in bad shape. There's holes in the roof. The foundation needs help, but it could be a great property for the town. Because Mike is involved with the Remembrance Garden, there are a number of weddings there. And it would be nice someday to think that the barn could be a hall for any number of activities. So we look forward to that happening down the road. The Moravian Church turns 275 years old in 5 years. Because of the tie, we are hoping to have the property fully restored in the next 5 years. So we have a big job ahead of us, and we look forward to some support and help from the Rotary Club. To point that out, we have gotten quotes, and I'm kind of giving you a financial background need here, along with the history part of it. We need $20,000 just to repair the roof and replace the gutters. The house painting, as I mentioned, is going to be $18,000 to $25,000. The barn has asbestos siding on it. Okay? And yeah, it needs to go. And so we've gotten a quote on that to remove it, and then to put an exterior siding over the existing siding we want to maintain the interior as it is historically. So that number comes to $54,000, which I was happy it wasn't more. But then, you know, we need to sandblast the foundation and to, on the inside and out, and that's another $18,000, and then we want to put a concrete floor in the basement for the lower level of the barn. It is a bank barn. So we're looking at a total of about $131,000 just to bring the property up to speed, and that's without doing anything inside to bring it up to code. If we're gonna use it for public use, then you now need handicap bathrooms, you need a lot of work in that regard. So we've got a big challenge ahead of us. I invite you to visit the homestead. We are involved with Old Fashioned Christmas. That's December 1st and 2nd. Believe it or not, that's not far away. So we invite you to come to the homestead then, and of course, you're welcome to come anytime. And I do appreciate this opportunity to share with you a moment. I'm here if you have any questions. On the table, you have a brochure. And we invite you to become members and help us restore this valuable historical property in Emmaus. I thank you for your time.
Anybody have any questions for Gene? Go ahead, JP.
I have two. The first one, when can you see the canals? Is it like regularly open, or is it by appointment only, or?
A couple of ways. You can see it tonight. The Remembrance Garden is having a brick lane at 5 o'clock, so we're gonna be open for that. We